Hello everyone, and welcome to Training Tuesday, where we go through regular tips and tricks to help you build a professional life you love. This week, we are talking about the curse of being ultra-hirable, which is a fun topic. This is something I've actually talked about before that resonated with a lot of you. And so as a result, I decided it was good to do as a Training Tuesday so that more of you can come back to it. And as we talk about the curse of being ultra-hirable, essentially what we're talking about is tell me if you can relate. So we are talking about being ultra-hirable is being the person who is always known for doing stuff and doing stuff well. So maybe if you are ultra-hirable, you've heard stuff from past managers like, oh, well, we know if we want to get anything done, we give it to you. Stuff like that, right? And so because you are this standout superstar, you become what I call ultra-hirable. And so these are the people that maybe when your manager changes company, as soon as they've passed the window where they don't get in trouble for poaching you, they come and say, hey, come work with me again. This is someone who maybe when you're out and about, you get offers, right? This is a great thing, being that standout, being the superstar of the team. And it often leads to wonderful things like opportunities, right? So these can sometimes be things like people coming to you and saying, hey, if you ever want to go into X, Y, and Z field, just let me know. Speaking from personal experience, this is something that I personally heard when I was in the advertising world on the media buying side. I remember I was at some event and some publisher said to me like, hey, if you ever want to go publishing side, just let me know. And it was one of those things that was super flattering, but also I knew that wasn't what I wanted. So conversation never went anywhere from there. No big deal. But this is where the problem can come into place for a lot of people. For a lot of folks, if they don't have an internal sense of what it is that they want and what they need within their role, then they get flattered by these things and they sometimes take these opportunities that aren't necessarily the best fit for them. And so what it ends up happening, right, is we see this path that is essentially being, as I explained, being created by others. Because if they don't have the strongest internal sense of clarity and direction about what they want, they'll sometimes take these external opportunities and their career path ends up looking like, right, a zigzag or like a pinball machine almost. They try this and then they try this and then they try this because those are the things that are presented to them. And again, sometimes it works out just fine if coincidentally all of the opportunities that come to you are a really clear path and it's a really aligned path. That just means you've been clear and deliberate enough in what you do, and so maybe that's worked out for you. But what sometimes happens is not that. What happens is this path being essentially decided by others because you are letting your career path be determined by external factors of the opportunities that come your way, right? So as I said, it's not the most clear, consistent path. It ends up being a bit of a zigzag. And this doesn't work so well for us. Right? We often, speaking from experience and speaking from being on enough calls with these people, we often then see them come to me years later and say, yeah, I don't really know how I got here, right? I've just kind of been taking things, or I don't really have a path in my career. It's just kind of happened. And all of a sudden, here I am. And so you see why I call this a bit of a curse, right? Of course, while it's really flattering to be a standout and to have opportunities presented to you, what we want to make sure is that we are making deliberate choices within our career. And that starts with having some sort of internal direction. Because if we don't have internal direction and clarity about what we need, then as we said, we can be easily influenced by what presents itself in front of us. And so that is my encouragement to you this week. I'm curious if this resonates with anyone, this idea of being ultra-hirable. And it can feel kind of weird to say, right? It can feel kind of strange and maybe a little bit yucky to say, oh, well, I'm just so hirable and great. Everyone wants to work with me. But the truth is, I'm sure this resonates with some of you. This idea of being someone who, yes, of course, that means we don't know, or we know we're not the biggest gift to the world necessarily, but there is some truth that a lot of people resonate with of, shoot, I've always been a standout. I've been good at my job, and that's great. And it sometimes leads to these opportunities. And what I need to do is be able to distinguish which of these opportunities are right for me and which of the ones are not right for me. Because if we can't decide between the yes or the no, we're not going to be able to make intentional decisions around a career path, and we're going to end up with something that's a bit of a zigzag opposed to clear sense of direction, clear straight shot towards what it is that we're wanting more of. Okay? So that is my encouragement for you this week. If this resonates with you at all and you can relate, you can either let me know below, or if you're like, I feel funny enough saying it, you can always send me a direct message about this. But I know I can relate. It's an unfortunate thing that happens for a lot of us. And again, feels funny to say, gosh, I'm just so great. But the truth is, this is a reality for a lot of people. And so what we want you to do is start to distinguish what it is that you're looking for so that you can get more of it. Got it? So that is my tip for you this week. Work on getting clear on what it is that you need within your career so that you can work on getting more of that and make that deliberate, clear path for yourself and your career. And for my ultra-hirable people, I encourage you to start there. If you need support with this, of course, that's what I do day in and day out, is help clients get internal clarity on what it is that they want within their role, because we're not often asked that. And so we end up taking these things that present themselves, and that ends up with a lot of discomfort, we'll say, long term. So if you need support with that, if you need help figuring out your internal lens for yes and no to all the wonderful things that might be coming your way, let me know. I am here. Feel free to reach out and we can chat about ways to help you get there. So start with clarity. As always, I'm a broken record here, but start with that, because I know that this is going to give you the direction you need so that being ultra-hirable is not a curse and is just a blessing. So from one person who has had these things fall in their lap to another, I'm here. I'm here to help. Wishing you a lot of support on this process. And in the meantime, happy working.